welcome to the class all about designing your own temporary tattoo on the iPad using Procreate. Have you ever considered getting a permanent tattoo but wanted to test it out first? Or perhaps you are looking for a fun activity to do with your kids or friends, or even learn how to make temporary tattoos and add a new product for sale in your shop. The goal of this class is to design, draw, and order a temporary tattoo all from the iPad. And you do not have to be an artist. In this class, I am going to walk you through the process from ideation to a final temporary tattoo product in hand, ready to use, all with just the use of an iPad, the Procreate app, and the internet. My name is Allie. I am an illustrator and surface pattern designer, an educator, and the idea for this class came from creating a temporary tattoo for my mother-in-law who wanted to test out what a more permanent tattoo would look like on the inside of her wrist. And I realized in doing so that you can create these temporary tattoos from start to finish just using the iPad and the Procreate app to then sell them as temporary tattoos on your own website, whether that's an online marketplace like Etsy or your own shop or pop-up markets. The ideas are really endless. Join me as I walk you through setting up a file in Procreate to ordering the actual tattoo, all while using your iPad. If you don't have the Procreate app, it costs about 10 US dollars. It is all you need, no need to finalize anything on the laptop or in more fancy software. Let's get started. For the class project, I would love for everyone to share their initial sketch ideas, a final image file, and if you decide to order a temporary tattoo, a photo of the tattoo. I personally find it so incredibly satisfying to hold a final product with your art on it. You can post your image files to the class project tab below and be sure to check out everyone's amazing designs. All right, to get started, all you need is your iPad. I'm going to open up the Procreate app. And within the app, I'm going to click the plus sign and plus sign again to create a brand new canvas. And first and foremost, I might rename this as Tattoo Example, but you can name it anything you would like. And then for the size, we want to set it to inches, and I'm going to use a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch canvas, just because that is the final size that I have printed out here for my tattoo. So it's about 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. If you compare that to my Apple stylus, you can also cut out a square if you want to visualize that yourself using a ruler and scissors. And that's just a good size, I think, for a lot of these temporary tattoos. So I'm going to go ahead and go to 300 dpi for dots per inch for the resolution, which leaves me with more layers than I need. And click Create. And so now I've got a brand new canvas on here, all set to draw in the next lesson where we are going to sketch out our ideas. So opening up our canvas again, so we are all set to sketch ideas, I'm going to go ahead into my brushes and select maybe something under sketching, like the HB or Narrander pencil. And you can choose anything. This doesn't really matter. I'm also going to toggle my color down to black and see what we've got here. Change that size a bit. So I am all set. Now, when I sketch ideas, I like to draw little thumbnail boxes to give myself a couple different ideas on the page. And I'm just going to draw 4 of them here. No real rhyme or reason to it. You can, of course, do this a different way. If you want to use the selection tool and kind of center those, this doesn't really matter. The idea is just to get your ideas flowing and start thinking about different sketch ideas. So this is where the fun begins. You get to kind of draw and think, okay, what kind of tattoos would I want? Maybe I have a cat, little wonky legs. Maybe it's just a cat face with huge whiskers. Perhaps I am writing something, so I could try to do some interesting lettering that I want to print out. Really take your time here and play around with ideas. You don't want to necessarily limit yourself. Just imagine what it would look like on a 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch square, and then essentially on your skin. And then maybe the last one's just a simple heart that's filled in. So once you play around with your ideas and you've really come up with something that you like out of the 4 of them, or maybe you want to make multiple tattoos, we are going to create a new layer for the next lesson. And let's rename by double clicking that layer 1. And whoops, there we go. Click on it, rename, and let's call this sketch. And then layer 2, let's call this design. So both are really designed, but we have our sketch layer and then our design layer all set up. Nothing's on there right now for the next lesson, where we are going to choose one of these and finalize it for our tattoo. Okay, so opening up the iPad to the canvas that we left off, we should have a couple different thumbnails, or at least one sketch idea that you want to continue on. And then within that, we have our design layer. So something I like to do on the sketch layer, making sure to pull up that layers panel and click or highlight that sketch layer. I like to go over to the selection tool, go down to rectangle, and I like to just pick one of those shapes and click copy and paste. And if we go back to our layers, you'll see that it actually pasted it, if I turn off the sketch, as its own layer. And then that way I can kind of drag it to the whole screen here and kind of pick something that I want to fill up almost all of that 1.5 inches. This is really up to you. But this is roughly the size cat that I want to be drawing, and I'm even noticing a few things I might tweak here, but that's okay. Try to pick your sketch that you want to draw from, and then pulling up the layers panel again, I'm actually going to click on this little N, which is the normal different transparency layer, and we're going to play with the opacity just a bit. So when I go to the design, it is lighter underneath. So this is where you get to have fun. I'm going to go down to inking and pick the studio pen, but you can really pick anything here and have fun with it. So now we're going to start drawing, and I might adapt my sketch just a little bit. And if you need to make more sketch layers, I'll show you how to do that. So let's say that that's a little bit closer, but I'm still not a big fan. I could turn off the layer below. I could even delete it if I wanted to. And then I'm gonna click plus, a new one, change that design layer, change the opacity down, and then let's draw again on top of this. Okay, so I like that a lot more. I'm gonna actually turn off that layer underneath and delete that, rename this one. The only reason I like to do this is because it keeps it really simple when I come back through if I need to edit anything, but it's not necessary. You can kind of play around with that. And before I color it, I might even try to kind of move this around to the right size and scale. If you want it to be a smaller tattoo, you can definitely do that. If you want it to maximize that square, you can definitely do that too. I'm going to keep mine somewhere in the middle there. And I also want to add a few more details before I'm done here, and then we'll talk about color. So maybe I have just a little nose and mouth and leave it simple like that. So when I add color, sometimes I like to add it as a different layer just to see if I like it or not, and I'm going to add it underneath this cat layer and call it color. And then I'm going to go select a different color to use, maybe this orange, and then go ahead and pick maybe even a different ink. I can play around with that. Let's see what I might use here. So this is where you really get to have fun and start to color in. And there is the ability to add color in the tattoos. I will show you who I used to print them and other considerations when working with any kind of manufacturer when you're printing your own temporary tattoos. So I'm going to go ahead and color in this cat, and I will see you in just a moment. Okay, so once you have drawn something that you are happy with, we're going to go ahead and make sure we've got that sketch layer or any kind of reference layers turned off underneath there, and only the layers that we would like. And in the next video, we're going to talk about exporting out the image so you can upload it straight here on the iPad into some internet browser and order your tattoos. So coming back into our Procreate file, there's another chance to double check that you've got, all of your layers turned on that you want, all the other layers turned off. You could even select multiple layers and adjust the size one last time if you want to kind of move that around. But once you have it to the size and the color and all the layers you like, we're going to go ahead and export an image. So going up to the wrench, I'm going to go under share. So there's add, canvas, and share. And we're going to share an image. You could use either a JPEG or PNG. I typically export a PNG image. And once it comes up, first of all, you can see here untitled artwork. So I could rename that because it might be confusing when looking through my order and seeing what tattoo I ordered. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out and rename it before we save the image. So if I go under canvas, canvas information, the very top you can see untitled artwork, and if I just click there and click on the little keyboard, I could call this, let's call it Orange Cat. So you can name it anything. Again, can just be helpful. So coming back to share, PNG. Now it comes up as Orange Cat as a PNG image. And I'm going to go down to save image. This means it's saving it directly to my iPad photos. And that's it. That's all it takes to save the image after you've drawn it on Procreate. And then in the next video, we're going to talk about opening up a website browser, how to order a tattoo, and do it all from the iPad. I did a quick Google search and found one website that allows for single orders, which means I could order one tattoo of a design rather than a bulk minimum of, say, 100 temporary tattoos. You can check it out at 24hourtattoos.com, and if you want to use all the kind of suffix here to find the 1.5 inch by 1.5 custom tattoos, you can copy and paste it or type it in. I found it cost around $5 per tattoo, but note that it's way cheaper as soon as you start adding multiples. So even ordering 2, 3, 4, or 5 tattoos in the same design, it brings that cost down a lot. You can also look up shops yourself if you want to check out different vendors. Here are a few things to consider when searching through different websites. Is there a minimum order quantity amount? What size limits do they have? Can you print in full color? What file types do they accept? And what countries do they ship to or even from? Okay, so I have 24hourtattoos.com pulled up. And this is one particular site I found that offers shipping in the United States, as well as the ability to order just one tattoo at a time. Now, fun fact, I ordered 2 different designs. I ordered the cat with the orange kind of color in it just to see what color looked like, and I ordered the cat with just the outline. And I'm pretty sure I just clicked one and I got 3 of each of these designs. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe that was a fluke in the system, but I'll show you what I did and exactly how I ordered everything using this website, 24hourtattoos.com, and navigating to the customized temporary tattoos. Now you can see here, there are a ton of different size options that they offer, the smallest being the 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And so I went ahead with that and clicked customize now, but of course you could try to go for a bigger size. You can even change it here in step 1, where you can change your tattoo size. It goes all the way up to 4 inches by 6 inches. Now, these images aren't really representative of that, so if you're curious, I recommend just taking out a ruler and paper and cutting out what that might look like. And if you notice here at the top, there are different quantities and unit prices. And at the time of this video, the cost for one tattoo is just shy of $5 US, but you can see the price drastically reduces per unit or per tattoo the more you order. So you could even order just like 2 or 6 of them, and that drops pretty significantly. But we're going to stick with one for now, and that 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. Scrolling down to step 2, I want to upload a full design, and then I'm going to go through all of these boxes. I'm going to say I want 1. Full imprint colors as opposed to metallic. No white. Artwork type. I need to click the drop down and go to upload my artwork. And this is where it's going to prompt you to browse either your files or an image from, say, Google Drive, Dropbox, Facebook, Instagram. But because we saved our image straight from Procreate into our iPad photos, I'm just going to stick with my files, click browse, and go into my photo library. And then in the library, you can see I've got a couple different examples here. I'm going to click on that orange cat and click use. And it's going to give me a brief view of it. I don't need to crop it. We've already set it up at 1.5 inch by 1.5 inches and oriented that cat into the center of the canvas, which again doesn't actually really matter because when you apply it to your skin, it's just going to have the cat there. And let's skip that step. It's going to pull up, and that's it. Now, digital proof request, there is an upcharge if you would like to do that. I'm going to say no. And then as I scroll down, this particular site has both the option to have it printed and sent from the US or from China. And depending on where you live, you might want to change it. It's really up to you and your preference. Just notice that there is an upcharge of 75 cents in the US to have it printed in what looks like Houston, Texas at the moment. And if I keep scrolling down, I can get some rates. I'm going to type in an arbitrary zip code, get rates, and you can see here there's also an upcharge if you want it quicker. I'm going to go with free. Just note, if you are going to do this for like a birthday party event or something, it might take a little while, a week or 2 at most, to get the tattoos. And it's just a little more than $5 because I had that upcharge for printing in the USA. And I can click add to cart. Now I've got a few things in my cart here. If I want to get rid of one, I could just exit out. And I could edit using the blue little, or the white little pencil on that blue box there if I want to change it. There might be some upsells. I'm just going to keep scrolling down all the way to checkout. And I'm just going to stick with secure checkout. And this is where you enter all of your information. So shipping address, payment method. If you have a promo code, I do not have one to give, unfortunately. I'm not tied with this company in any way. It's just something that I used and found, but I will talk about some other things to consider when you are looking for any kind of vendor or company to order them. And then you can place your order. So I'm going to leave it there, but hopefully that kind of shows how easy it can be to upload your image that you've drawn in Procreate, everything just on the iPad from start to finish. All right, so let's say that your tattoo came in. You've got your 1.5 by 1.5 design and you're ready to apply it. Typically, you want to grab some kind of dampened washcloth or towel, and then clean the area of skin that you're going to apply it to. And then this particular company has a little plastic cover I'm going to pull off. Place the tattoo where you would like it to go. And then you're going to press pretty firmly. I'm trying to soak up some of that water. You can see it's starting to get wet here. Making sure to apply pressure to the temporary tattoo wherever you're applying it to your skin so it transfers. Then you could even hold it there and kind of press. And then once you think it's pretty stuck on, you're going to slowly peel up the tattoo. And here's the big reveal. So throwing away or recycling the little piece of paper, I've now got a little outline of a cat on my hand, but of course you can kind of play around with wherever this goes and how you decide to use your tattoos. But super fun to see design from the iPad all the way to the finished product on your hand. While you may have plenty of ideas already, here are a few thoughts to get started making your own temporary tattoos. You could sketch and design temporary tattoos as a rainy day activity with kids. You could also test out a more permanent design idea with a temporary tattoo before committing to the ink on your skin. Or you could even incorporate the iPad drawing activity into a birthday party event. And lastly, you could definitely create temporary tattoos to sell in your own shop, whether that is on your website, at pop-up in-person markets, or an online marketplace like Etsy. The ideas are endless, really. If you enjoyed the content, you can always follow along at Quite Creative on Instagram or sign up for the Pine newsletter at quitecreative.com. It's where I share a bunch of design tips, new resources, release of classes, and sometimes even a little slice of life. I can't wait to see what tattoo design you come up with. Thanks for watching.